expected to remember it all today. We are a small campus with a very caring and dedicated staff, so anytime after today included, but anytime after today, if you have any questions, any concerns, our doors are always open, my door included. My office is right across the hall in this building, and feel free to come and ask any questions or express any concerns that you may have. They've got a information-filled session planned for you today, and we're just so excited to have you here, and we look forward to classes starting in less than a month. So enjoy.
Thank you, Dr. Fulton-Montgomery. Hi, everyone. I've been corresponding with you as you've been making your RSVPs and getting settled here. I'm Arlene Spencer. I'm the Director of Academic Support Services. And so I'm running the session today, but we have some guest speakers that'll be joining us shortly. The Vice President of Student Affairs sends her best. She had another meeting that she had to attend off campus. She may pop in a little bit later, but her part of the presentation is really just to go over in your folder. Dr. Truckenmiller had written a letter to the community about our reopening plan. You don't need to refer to it, but it's there. You can look at it later. But basically, it's just what we know as of now. As of now, the vaccines are not required to be vaccinated, but we are expecting at some point for one of the three main vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, or J&J, to get final FDA approval. The governor has said once that happens, then students at SUNY campuses must be vaccinated. So that's what we know at this point. If it does not happen, then we continue as we're all continuing now. If you're not vaccinated, wear a mask, or you can wear a mask if you're worried about the Delta variant, which we are all a little worried about, and you just have to keep going, social distance as much as you can. But we are expecting that to be imminent. So for your convenience, we have a clinic on campus today for the Pfizer vaccine. They are accepting walk-ins. They're over in the physical education building right after the session. So you can just walk over there and see a nurse and get vaccinated if you are not yet vaccinated. There's 3 weeks in between, so if you got your first Pfizer today, you could get the second one 3 weeks from today on August 31st. So we recommend that because the SUNY tuition policy, if you started classes at New York and then one of the vaccines gets final approval by the FDA and it's September 30th, you're going to have to be vaccinated. And if at that point, you're not going to get your money back if you chose not to do it. So, I know it's a sensitive topic, but that's where we are right now. So everything is written down in the reopening plan, and we just encourage students to read that over and know what your rights are and what the protocols are for campus. Obviously, we are on an honor system for events like this. And but in the fall, students will be tracked and we'll be collecting that information. So if you are vaccinated and you want to send that information, now you can send it to our registrar's office with your other vaccinations that are required by New York State: measles, mumps, rubella. And those of you that are in the nursing and rad tech programs, you have others. Yes?
If we give a copy of that to the athletics program, could they forward it?
Probably. You can also email it to me.
Okay.
And I know we were in touch, so you can also just email it to me and I'll forward it to the registrar's office. They work right next to my office, so it's not a problem. So getting that out of the way, are there any other questions regarding that? Okay, so welcome. And our first guest speaker, should we plunge right in, Jean?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got, oh no, not Michaela, not yet. Although you can chime in. We've got Jean Carudis from our Opportunity Grants programs, and she'll be joined in a moment, probably by Audrey. Or
yeah, hopefully. Audrey's with a student, so I may be doing this.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. I have to tell you that we get so excited. We actually see students on campus again. It is like, wow. It makes our heart really full, because last year for everyone was tough. Not having students on campus for the most part was very, very difficult. So we're really looking forward to a more normal, quote unquote, year. And we're so happy you're here. We're so happy that you chose FM for your college. So what I'm going to talk just a few minutes about are our opportunity programs here on campus. And all of you have in your folder this sheet right here that kind of goes over what I'm going to talk about now. Also, most importantly, to sign up for these programs or to see if you qualify, you can just use our little QR code on your phone. The application is mobile friendly. It'll take you a few minutes. Or the URL, which you could type into your PC, is at the bottom there. So start with, what are opportunity programs? What do you think I mean by opportunity programs? Anybody? First quiz, first time you're going to be asked to raise your hand with other people in the room. Opportunity for what? Right? Is that the question you're at? Like, opportunity, what does that mean? Well, I'll back up and I'll explain. Opportunity to excel at the college. Opportunity for who? We all know that life cannot be fair at times. If we learned anything from COVID-19, I think we learned that. We live in a society where certain people have opportunities kind of granted to them very easily, and other people have opportunities that they must seek out. So our opportunity programs seek to help those students that often have to struggle with navigating the confusing maze that college can be. So that's the opportunity to have a guide as you go through college. Now, let's go back to the question of opportunity for who? Who would qualify for these programs? Who might not know how to navigate college? Well, maybe a student who didn't have parents that went to college. That was me a very long time ago, granted, but neither one of my parents graduated from high school, let alone go to college. When it came time for me to come to FM, my parents couldn't help me. I was one of the lucky ones. I figured it out through trial and error. But we have opportunity programs here now that can help those type of students that I was many, many years ago navigate this system without having to do trial and error. So that's one type of student we serve. They're known as first-generation college students. When I first started working here, or when I applied for the position of director of our TRIO program, and I read in the ad, first-generation college student, I thought, does that mean like somebody's coming from a foreign country and they're the first generation? No, all it means is that neither one of your parents has a bachelor's degree. So if you have a parent who has an associate's degree, maybe they came here to FM, you would still be considered a first-generation college student. And certainly if your parents attended college but didn't graduate, you would also be considered a first-generation college student and would be eligible for our programs. The other type of student that we help navigate maybe is a student who is receiving a lot of Pell and TAP grants, a lot of financial aid to come to college. That would be a student whose parents don't have the funds to pay the tuition outright. They need a little help. We're here to help them with services. They get the money from financial aid, but we help them with navigating. And then the third student that we serve under opportunity programs are students with disabilities. Now that can be a learning disability, it can be a physical disability, or a mental health disability. And again, going back to our mission to provide opportunity, we're going to help those students navigate waters that are difficult to navigate, even for regular-bodied individuals, let alone a person who maybe has some challenges. So that's the programs, that's who we help. Now, what do we do? Because you're thinking, that's great, whatever. Well, what's the big deal? Why would I want to join this program? Well, we help those students with academic advising. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I already have a schedule. I saw this person. I'll just go back and see them. Well, if you want one person, one academic advisor to guide you through your program as you progress here, and I understand that many of you are attempting to get into the nursing program, which can be confusing at times, depending on which courses you need to take as prerequisites. You would have one academic advisor that you would see each semester to help you, rather than maybe seeing one person one semester and then the next semester they're not available, so you have to see someone else. So that's one advantage. We also have, on the second floor of the library, a tutoring area that is equipped with copiers, color copiers as well, printers, computers, study space. We even have, I was going to say an overhead projector, but that's not what it is. It's a projector that you hook a computer up to. A smart board is what it is. So if you're working on a presentation, you would be able to do that in that room. We have tutors in all areas that you may need. If we don't have a tutor in a particular subject matter, we would get one for you. And some of the greatest draws to our program, and for those of you looking to get into the nursing program, you will need this, it's free printing. Now, believe it or not, you're thinking now, well, what's the big deal? I have a printer at home. We have a lot of students who really utilize that service because the college can't provide free printing to everyone. So we do through our program. If you're a TRIO student, you would be eligible to have all your printing done right up in the library. And when you get into subjects like anatomy and physiology, a lot of times students need those PowerPoints printed out so they can actually see things and study. We also have a lot of the anatomy and physiology models that we have for use right up in our lab area. So they have those in the library as well, but we have extra up in TRIO. So if the ones in the library are being used, you can come up to the TRIO study lab as a TRIO student and you would be able to use those. Now you're probably thinking, she's referring to TRIO. What the heck is TRIO? TRIO is one of the opportunities we have here at the college. We have 2 federally funded TRIO opportunity programs. Federally funded means the federal government gave us money to provide these programs. We also have a state-funded educational opportunity program. That program serves the same type of student that the TRIO program has, the ones that I described to you, except you do have to be in your first semester of college in order to get into that program. But applying through this application will get you into both programs. So you don't have to fill out 2 applications. We will get in touch with you. The other thing we offer to students through TRIO and EOP is trips to other colleges, other 4-year college campuses, and assistance in helping those students to transfer. So if you're thinking you want to go on for your bachelor's in nursing after you finish your nursing program here, we would help you to do that. So you can kind of see we have lots of different services. Sometimes students say, well, yeah, that sounds good. I'll join if I need it. I'll join later. Don't do that. Join now, because then you're in. Then you don't have to be struggling first and then come to us after you're very confused and maybe you've made a couple wrong turns along the way. And it's absolutely free. There's, no catch to this. We provide the services you need. We don't make you come up to the TRIO study lab and check in with us, but we'd like you to, and we will be following you. We will be watching your grades, and we'll reach out if we see your attendance or your grades slipping. And it's not a punitive reach out. It's, hey, Is everything okay with you? Do you need us? Do you need help? We want to be there for you. So that's really the opportunity programs in a nutshell. Any questions? Yes. Oh, that's an excellent question. She asked, do you have to be all three types of the person that qualifies for our programs? No, you can be any one of those. So if you are a first generation college student, you qualify. If you're getting a lot of Pell and TAP grants, you qualify. If you have a student who has a disability, you qualify. But you don't need all three of those. Excellent question, thank you. I usually say that, I forgot it this time. Any other questions?
Jean, did you mention where your office is?
Oh, yes, my personal office is on the first floor of the library. If you took the tour, you may have seen it. My office is between the writing lab and the library director's office. And we just put up a beautiful mural with a whiteboard. My office is right there. And then our trio penthouse, we call it our trio penthouse. Our study lab is on the second floor of the library. So you would be accessing all those services in the library, which is going to be our hub in the fall when students return to campus.
And do you have to be on campus to access some of the tutoring services?
That's a great question. Thank you, Arlene. Thanks. See, I usually have my wingman, Audrey Eggleston, who's our learning services coordinator. So she often kind of fills in where I forget. So thank you for that, Arlene. No, you don't have to be on campus. We will be offering services, advisement services remotely if you need them, and also tutoring services remotely. During the pandemic, we also offered our printing services remotely, where students contacted Audrey and she printed out the things they needed printed, and then people could pick them up. Sort of like Target, you know, you phone Target or do it on your app and then you pick it up afterwards. So we're very accommodating. Now I have a question for you. And the first person that can answer this question gets this lovely FM t-shirt. So how do you sign up for opportunity programs? First person.
You can either fill out the application grant, you can use a QR code, you can meet with you and discuss with it, and you can also
Awesome. Sweet. There you go. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, one more. And this time it's a t-shirt. Okay. What are one of the services we provide through opportunity programs? Free printing. You remembered our most popular. There you go. I have a smaller one. Would you prefer a smaller one? I like t-shirts. All right, that's all the time I'll take up with you guys today. Thanks so much for indulging me, and I really, truly hope to see you guys in TRIO and in our opportunity programs, but if I don't, I still wish you the very best as you start college. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up on our agenda, you get to meet some of the students that are here. You saw some of them on the campus tours. So we've got 3 students here today, or former students, and they'll just share a little bit about themselves and what they studied when they were here, and maybe some things that they did as extracurricular activities. Take it away.
So my name is Emily Town. I graduated here in 2017, and I studied general studies when I came.
My name is Noah Clark. I studied digital media and general studies when I was at FM, and I graduated in 2016.
I'm Michaela Hauser. I studied health studies from 2018 to 2020, and right now I'm in the nursing program from 2020 to 2022.
Can you tell us, guys, what attracted you to come to FM and what were some of your favorite classes?
So I looked at a lot of like bigger schools before I came to FM, and ultimately it came down to how much it was going to cost and the fact that you can get your gen eds done before you transfer, which will save you a ton of money. I really liked my English classes so much that I ended up becoming a student tutor for English. So That was my favorite.
So I really liked the college because it was smaller and it was a bit closer to home. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do when I got out of high school, so this was kind of a good opportunity to get kind of my general eds done and really explore myself as a person and what I really want to do. My favorite class, I really enjoyed Jean Carruth's sociology class, actually. That was one of my favorites.
So I'm actually going to focus on my health studies degree because after I'll kind of actually talk more about everything that I've done so far. But my favorite classes that I've ever taken were Florence Palacio. We actually invited her to speak today, but right now we don't know where she is. But I invited her to talk with me. I loved all of her classes I took with her. Whenever I was with her, it was just such an interesting class to me. And yeah.
What's the difference between health studies, health science, and laboratory nursing? What can you speak to the differences?
So health studies is kind of geared more towards patient care. So you will be learning how, there'll be certain classes that you take that are affiliated with how to take care of your patients, how to do proper care for them. There's ethics, there's different kind of classes like that. Health sciences, I'm not sure because I didn't go in that way. And then nursing is everything that kind of health studies got me to. I did know since I was in 8th grade I wanted to be a nurse. So I worked my way and I did health studies, and because I did all my prereqs and a degree, I was able to get into this past year's nursing program. It is a lot harder than I thought. And then for the RadTech program, I know a little bit because I have friends in there. It's just as hard as nursing is. You guys are learning your patient care and how to properly place your patients for their procedures that are being done, which normally in RadTech, I think you guys start with X-ray.
So, show of hands, who's in health studies? Who's in health science? And who's in nursing? And who's in RadTech? Okay, did I miss anybody? No. Some of you may be general studies working your way towards a health program. Health science is you're probably looking to go on for medical school or veterinarian or dental. Is that accurate? Perhaps. Yeah, it's more of the hard sciences, right? You've got a lot more chemistry, perhaps physics, biology. What's that? Anatomy and physiology is across the board in health studies.
Oh yeah, you do it in all 4 fields. In all 4 of the courses, you do anatomy and physiology, you do chemistry, but in the health sciences, you go more in depth compared to health studies and that kind of stuff.
And all of you can speak to this probably. What kind of tutoring support services do we have? We'll start with
I'm a huge advocate for tutoring services because I work for them. But we have our writing center on campus. So especially for the health sciences, nursing program, health studies, stuff like that, you want to go get your papers checked out just to look over and make sure everything's correct. Colleen Sanders is our director over there, and she'll specifically work with your group just because she knows a lot more about your program. So I think our tutoring services are a huge part of coming here, especially our anatomy, physiology. We have a lot of tutors for that. I've used them because I'm not a math or science person, and they are wonderful.
And chemistry.
And chemistry. Any math or science really for me. I'm very weak in that area, so I got a lot of help from them.
Yeah, math and science was a no for me too. I actually met Emily in the writing lab. So I used to live in there and just pretty much get all my papers done in there. There's everywhere you look on this campus, there's going to be support for everything you do. So utilize it.
So even if you don't qualify for those TRIO and opportunity programs that Jean just spoke about, we have free tutoring for everybody. And it's during the day, Monday through Friday, from 9 to 4. But we also have virtual tutoring in the evenings and on weekends.
So for the nursing program, the 3 that are in the nursing program, this past year we started Nursing Tutor. My class was the ones to start it, and she's really, we was really awesome. But you guys are actually getting my friends Preston and Grace. You guys will meet them on a different orientation day for just the nursing students that the nursing program is putting on. So they actually have a schedule. They're planning out their schedule where they work with our classes and your guys' classes, and it's really a great resource to use second year nursing students.
And first year, and for any of your programs, because again, it's free.
Trust me. And
there's nothing like it. The tutors work very closely with your professors. So of course you can go and speak with your professors during their office hours. You can go in their offices, or you can have virtual office hour meetings with them, depending on their preference. But there's nothing like a student who's been in that class before, who can tell you, yes, this part of this chapter is where you need to focus, because those are going to be the questions on that test. This is where you need to focus. And I'm telling you right now, our best students use our tutoring services. Of course, they're available to everybody. We hope all students use our tutoring services. But those students who really want that A, I can consistently see their names that they've been over in the Learning Commons in the library using all the tutoring services. So don't be shy. It's there to help you. There's no stigma at all. And in fact, like I said, it's our best students that are usually using these services. So get over there, meet them. It's a great place to park yourself in between classes. You probably have your class schedule that you've looked at. You probably have a couple of polls during the day in between your classes. Go to the library, call and chat with a tutor. The health programs actually has their own room.
yes.
Tell us about that.
In the health studies program, we have 2 separate rooms that are meant for us. We have the anatomy and physiology room, which is in the bottom floor of the library, hooked off, like you'll walk right in the door and it's right there. It's right on your right. There is always the mannequins in there and everything. Plus, there's also a anatomy and physiology tutor that will be in your lab that, like during the day, they set up specific times that are in there to help you do that. And then the health studies room / nurses are also in there, and rad tech is on the 2nd floor in the far back. You will see it's health studies room because it's all your like health studies, nursing, rad tech things that you could think of are all in that room, so you know you're in the right room. In that room, there is a whiteboard to write on. There's desk, there's chargers, everything, computers. My friends and I actually utilized that room for this past 2 semesters when we were allowed on campus. Because of that, we were able to study together and actually like get to know each other, and that's what we used those rooms for, was just to sit there and study, because it was a quiet area away from the library while it was still in the library.
So those rooms are where you can do group study, where you can talk. You know, libraries usually you think you can't really talk. Actually, our library, you're talking like this, but you can whisper and talk to your neighbor. And Emily's dad is actually our librarian, so he's very student friendly. We will be doing programming in the library. Student clubs and organizations are going to be out of the library on the 2nd floor. So the library is really the place to be. And there's going to be a food vending right outside, and you probably saw that on the tour. So really, that's going to be your home away from home between classes. Just come and hang out. Another place that you probably didn't get into because you said the building was locked.
We got into it.
Oh, you got into it. Did you show them the code, Raiders Cove? So Raiders Cove is going to also be open every morning from 7:30 to 5, and that's another hangout place. We're going to have popcorn during the day. If maybe you don't want to be in the library, maybe you don't want to study, you've had enough of that, you've done your homework, you just want to hang out and watch TV, you can go to the Cove and do that. And what, do they already have the ping pong?
There's the ping pong, pool, and I think we're trying to figure out where the air hockey is. I know you guys are putting something in there.
Yeah, so I know that right now it's ping pong, pool, and foosball. I'm not sure where air hockey is going to go.
We saw
But I think I mentioned to my tour group we were putting a bunch of stuff for the video game club in there, as well as the tabletop games club in the center of the room. it's going to be just like a really nice hangout space. And
So let's talk about extracurriculars. Emily, what did you do when you were a student here? What kind of extracurriculars did you do?
So as I said, I was a student tutor. That was usually what I did during my common hour. I did a couple classes where I was like an in-class tutor. I played softball while I was here, so I met a lot of great friends on the softball team. I was in student senate, so me and Noah were actually in student senate together. It's a really great way to meet everybody. You're basically the representative for your club. You get to meet with everybody that's a part of their different clubs. And you basically just come up with ideas for the college together to help you raise money for the clubs, putting on events, stuff like that, making announcements to other groups. It's a great way to meet people, definitely joining stuff. I definitely suggest putting yourself out there while you're here.
yeah, definitely join a club. When I was here, I was a residence assistant. I was fortunate enough to get a spot on the board of trustees. So I was a student trustee here. So then I got to be on the student senate, which was just awesome to see everybody collaborate, all the different clubs. I was a tour guide actually while I was here, and I worked in the library. I did probably way too much, but yeah, the best way you can meet friends and just really enjoy your college experience is just get involved with something. You know, it's not all just books.
Trust me, it's not. I'm actually the president of the Student Nurses Association. That is a part of the thing if you go into the nursing program. I believe Red Tech has something similar where they are part of, like, they have their own thing. And I'll give you a little brief on our SNA. You guys will see us throughout the hallways this year. We're going to be doing a couple fundraisers here at the college. So don't be afraid to come talk to us. Like us nurses, I think we might do a blood pressure drive where you can come get your blood pressure taken and just know your parameters of that, because who doesn't want to know that? And then I am also the vice president of the FCA, so I am involved in the college, like the deeper part of the college. So like I've learned about things with the dorms, what's going on with Greater Cove. Like I see everything from a different view compared to what other people see. Because some people just see it, the college at the basic level, where being a part of this program, the FCA, I see it from a deeper view, and I have say a part of it.
Now, what is your advice for freshmen? Other than joining clubs, but what kind of academic advice do you have?
I would say, especially specific to your majors, it's all about organization and time management. Cut out a time in your schedule to spend an hour or two in the library. Make sure you're having time for yourself. I mean, especially in your major, it is a high stress. You got a lot of work to do on a short time schedule, so make sure you're taking care of yourselves. That's all part of the time management. Having time for work, but also making sure you're taking care of yourself, not stressing yourself out too much.
Yeah, like Emily was saying, I mean, just getting into a routine. Once you get your schedules down, I mean, any routine is tough, whether it's getting into a fitness routine or just like a sleep schedule. Once you're consistent at it for about 2 weeks, it'll just be second nature to you. It'll make your life a lot easier.
So actually, I'll run it off there quick. I remember my first 2 years here, I actually made my own schedule and put out on a planner, and I took a picture of that, and that was my home screen. So if I couldn't figure out where a classroom was, I had that. Another thing I will say is your syllabus. Love it, know it like the back of your hand. That is the class's Bible, basically. That has all your due dates, everything. And especially in health study, I know definitely health studies. When I was in that, the teachers may not say, hey, you have something due this day. You're supposed to know it's due because of that syllabus. So you have to make sure you know what's due on what day. So having a binder or a planner to write down all your class information and say, hey, this is kind of important, write it in there.
Going off Michaela, they give it to you on the first day.
Don't lose it.
Just take that, highlight, it tells you how much things are worth, when things are due. It's a tell-all to your professor, so just take it on the first day, go through, mark your assignments, and just really look it over, because it's really going to help you.
So this is the time for you guys to ask students and former students any questions that you might have. All of a sudden, everybody looks down.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes.
Well, as you see them throughout the morning, please do feel free to ask them the questions you might have.
One last thing from me, if you guys are in the nursing or the rad tech program and you want to see the room where you guys can hang out and where your labs are, after we're done here today, I can take you down and show you everything. I will actually, now that I'm assuming the students are done. Are we done?
Yes.
I'm gonna go run and see if I can borrow a key to get into those classrooms so I can actually show you what the nursing lab looks like, the rad tech program, the rad tech room, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, so that actually brings me to a couple of announcements I want to make. As I had mentioned when we started, if you need to get up and stretch, use the restrooms, whatever, feel free to come in and out as you will. We're going to be going over some points. Yes.
Flor says she's on her way.
Oh, excellent. The faculty member's on her way. Good. We'll greet her in a moment. But feel free to do that. I have a message from everybody. If you needed to see the bursar office or financial aid, there would have been a sticky on your schedule. Please do see them before you leave today so that you can find out what they need to tell you. But even if you do not have a sticky on your schedule, they are encouraging every student to file the FAFSA. My own daughter is coming here, and as a perk for working at the college, we don't have to pay tuition for our children. So I never filed a FAFSA for my daughter. And the financial aid office said, you need to file a FAFSA. Why? Because of that new COVID stimulus that just got approved. There's going to be funds for students again. They've already sent, for last year, those students have received 2 checks. While I cannot guarantee that everybody who files a FAFSA will get a stimulus check, you don't want to not get the stimulus check just because you didn't file a form, right? So I'm filing the form for my daughter. It is a little bit of a thing. You go on FAFSA.gov or something like that. Even if you think and you're pretty confident you don't need to file it for tuition or help or scholarship money or anything like that, still file it. It's free to file it. If you don't know how to do it, go on our website, look under FAFSA and file it. Just because you might get a check. You don't want to throw away free money. We as taxpayers, our parents in the room, we're paying our taxes. We want our own children to benefit too. So please do file the FAFSA. It's an announcement from financial aid, and go visit those offices as they say. Yes.
Where would that bursar office be? Like
Okay.
which building on them?
Actually, it's right next door.
Okay.
If you go down the when you walk out this door and there's a little sidewalk,
Okay.
go down that sidewalk, it's right inside. And the bursar's office is the first office, financial aid is right next door.
Okay.
So it's very convenient, stone's throw away. Good question. So please visit them today. Also, the public safety is open. You get your ID card, you get your picture taken, and walk away with your ID card. Pardon?
Is the safety office in the physical education?
It's in the physical education building, yes.
Okay.
It's right when you walk out this parking lot and go straight inside. That's where the public safety office is going to be, right across from the fitness center.
Yep.
And right inside the cove is where the nurse is, if anybody needs the Pfizer vaccination today. And again, all free. See if I've forgotten anything else. Bookstore, of course, you've visited. Please do feel free to go back and check them out. All right, so I'm going to get into the presentation part while we were waiting. We're going to show this faculty member first. Oops.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paula Brown Weinstock. I teach psychology and sociology classes here at
Required
FMCC.
courses for all.
I am so excited to be a part of your welcome. I wish I could be there in person, but I can't. But there was no way I was going to pass up an opportunity to welcome you all to FMCC. Come this fall, I'll be starting my 22nd year at FM. I love my job. I love all the people that I work with. I love what I do. And most of all, I love my students. So there's no way I was going to miss up this opportunity to greet you all and say welcome to the FM family. I don't know about you all, but I am so excited to be on campus in the fall. I'll be starting my 22nd year. I am so looking forward to being in the classroom, and I'm hoping this is the last time that I'm talking to students through a computer. It's been a year and a half since we've been in the classroom. I don't know about you all, but I am excited to be there. So I'm also excited that you chose FMCC. What a smart decision that you made. You are going to discover today two things in a nutshell about FM. We are a family and we have a lot to offer. You're going to have a great experience here at FM. Let's start with the family part. We care about you. We care about your future. We care about your success. I'm not a professor who just walks into class and spews off my information and then walks out of the classroom. No, 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 no. I want to get to know you. I want to help you discover who you are and what you want for your future. And all the people that you're going to meet today, all of my colleagues, they're here for the same reason, to help you discover you and have the best, brightest future that you possibly can have. I have no doubt you're going to leave here today feeling that family feel. And you are now a part of our family. So I wasn't going to miss up this opportunity, again, to welcome you to this family. The other thing that you're going to discover about FM today, I think, is holy cow, we have a lot to offer. Yes, we're a small community college, but we have a ton of resources available to you. So as a student, it's your job to take advantage of all those resources, right? So as your professor, well, I'm probably not going to be all of your professors, but as a professor, I'm speaking from my colleagues, take advantage of those resources. Come to class. That's probably one of the most important things. If you ask any student who's been successful in college, what do you think is the #1 reason why you were successful? They'll tell you, I went to class. Sounds simple, but come to class, right? The other thing is take advantage of the resources. And one of those is office hours. Professors have office hours. I have 5 office hours a week set aside just for you to come in and talk about what's going on in class, what's going on in your life, how can I help you, to help you understand what kinds of things you should be thinking about for your future. So please take advantage of those. Take advantage of the tutoring services we have. Take advantage of the library that we have. Take advantage of the clubs that we have, the activities that are going to be going on. Join a sport if you want. Just get to know all of the possibilities that are offered here on campus. Research shows that if you are actively engaged in the classroom and actively engaged in the life outside the classroom, you're much more likely to be successful in school. I know that. That was what my whole dissertation was on. And I do want to get to know my students. So I'll tell you, you're not a number here. I've had students over to my house, several students over to my house for dinner. Right there, that's where we have dinner and have great conversations. I've had students over to bake cookies for an upcoming bake sale. It's on this other side here. I can't show you where we bake. I've hiked up mountains with students because I want to get to know them. I want to be a part of their FM experience. I want to help get them on the right track. Everybody you meet here today wants to help get you on the right track. So you're going to be overwhelmed today because you're going to get so much information, but that's okay. What's most important, show up on September 1st when classes start and ask questions. We're all here to help. So this is just the beginning of being a part of our FM family. Welcome. Have a great day. Sorry I couldn't be there. Bye.
She's very excited. Actually, many of you will probably have, she goes by Paula Brown Weinstock. You'll have her as your professor for psychology or sociology, because in the health science, health studies, nursing, and rad tech, you do have to take psychology, and you also have to take sometimes an advanced psychology course, which she also teaches. So you'll enjoy her. She is my daughter's favorite instructor, I have to say. Okay, so you've got a copy of this in your packet. You don't need to bring it out. Just, we're going to go through it real quick. Just slideshow going. Okay, so welcome again. I just want to, you're going to hear these buzzwords: adapt, connect, leverage. Those are our new buzzwords for our new college strategic plan. So we've all learned how to adapt in the last year and a half. We're connecting today, and that's the theme, of course. Connect with your classmates, with your professors, with all the services that are on campus, and leverage those to make yourself the best student you can be. So we've done a lot of these things already, and we're gonna get to the technology part soon. Just for your information, our mission, our vision, always giving you high quality. One of the things that students might not know is that sometimes you take a community college for granted, but a community college meets the same accreditation standards as any other four-year campus, two-year or four-year campus in the United States. So the freshman and sophomore years that you'll get here at FM are equivalent to any four-year campus, whether it's Albany, Syracuse University, any of them, Harvard even. I mean, really the freshman and sophomore years are parallel to what you're going to get. So if your goal is to transfer on for a bachelor's degree, you know that you're in good hands and that your courses will transfer as long as you're successful in those courses. Our core values are here. They also spell empower, which is the theme. Empower yourself. Using all of these tactics, empower yourself to be a great student. Don't let some of these obstacles hinder you, and a lot of the obstacles are you hurting yourself. Oops, the flag is kind of here, but your internal critic who might say, I don't understand what that professor's saying, I'm just going to give up and not go to class. No. That's why the professor has office hours. At a university, the professor does not have office hours. They are required for community college professors. That means they have 5 hours a week that they are paid to sit in their office just for you to come and ask questions. Okay? They're being paid anyway. Go and ask them questions if you don't understand. That's a great time for you to really kind of get one-to-one attention from your teachers. Learning is not passive, it is active. You have to take the steps to be engaging. Take advantage of the study and the tutoring and all of the things that we have. You know, obviously, if you have personal problems or other problems that may come up, we have counseling services on campus. So we're just gonna do some of the technology needs in this last hour, because every student who's enrolled in classes at FM will have something we call Blackboard. We'll be using Blackboard. So all of you have been registered into a course called orientation. So you may, when you look at your schedule, you say, oh, I have a summer course, orientation. Well, that's what today is. And that's what this course in Blackboard is. It's a resource area for you. And this PowerPoint is there. These videos are there. We're doing a YouTube Live. So if you want to watch the session again, you can. And we've got some students watching us live right now. But there are things that maybe you have forgotten about that are good tips for success. We talked about the syllabi, the calendar. One of the things is weather and emergency closings. There's something you can sign up for called SUNY Alert. And if you're not familiar with SUNY Alert, it's great. You can either get alerted by your phone, you can get alerted by a text message, or you can get alerted by an email. I've signed up for all three. So when we have bad weather, especially you're driving in from Schenectady, right, every day, you want to know at 5:30 in the morning that the college is closed. So I get at 5:30 or whenever they decide, I look, I get a phone call, an email, and I can't miss it, a text message. So you want to sign up for SUNY Alert so that you can roll right back over and go back to sleep and not get out on the bad roads. And there are other things which you can read for yourself later. I want to get into the technology parts, and we have laptops that we're going to pass out, so I'll get my handy dandy covers. And I'll pass out the laptop. need to know. Everything that you need to be connected to your courses is on our website. Our website address, of course, is fmcc.edu. I'm going to go over a few things while they're passing out the laptops, because you don't need the laptops yet. So we're just going to make use of our time. But you want to take a look at the top here. See, MyFM? MyFM is your portal. It's where everything that you need as an individual student is accessed about. So you can see your bill, you can see your schedule, you can see your grades, all your resources right through MyFM. So Evans Library. If you need to access research to write a paper, the library is available 24/7 as far as finding research to do your writing your papers or doing your work. And there's Blackboard. As I mentioned, Blackboard is the online learning system for all SUNY, State University of New York, colleges and universities. So you, like all of the students that are enrolled in the public university system, which is the largest system in the United States, the SUNY system, we all use Blackboard together. So if you go out to another school, you're going to say, oh, I already know Blackboard because I went to FM. So all of those little knobs right at the top, MyFM, the Evans Library, and Blackboard are listed there for you. We're going to go to the library page. And if you go to the library page, just look up here at the screen for now. You're going to see access to the library, of course. All the databases, as I said, you're writing a paper and you need to do some research. But you're going to see new student orientation, which is what I want you guys to focus on. So the rest of August, you're going to go home, you're going to go to this page, you're going to read over these sections, become very familiar with the resources of the college. So while you have 2 hours today with us, you can go home and you can look at all of this. And on that, when you clicked on it, we're going to focus today on the technology, because that's the part that's critical. We all know what it's like to all of a sudden one day be in class and the next day you're remote. We hope that we do not ever have to do that again. But we've got a system in place. We've got cameras in every classroom. So if your professor will be there with the class, but maybe you come down with COVID, or maybe you just come down with something else. Maybe you break your leg and you need to tune into class live. You can do that using the system of Blackboard and all of the technology, because there are cameras in every class, and every class will be recorded. So just let your professor know ahead of time if it's kind of an emergency situation, or if something comes up and you're going to be out for 2 weeks because you're on quarantine or something like that. You can keep learning. You know, we're not going to call a halt, I think, as a country like we've done in the past year and a half. Their class will continue, and you can continue as an individual student until you get better and can resume. But the professors are going to expect you to be in class. This is not a, oh, I don't feel like getting and driving to FM resource, because it won't be available unless the professor has given you the okay to tune in remotely. Okay? You got it? You can't just depend upon this. It will be, every class will be a resource for you, but the professor holds the key. They can either let you in live or they cannot. So if they don't buy your excuse that, oh, I just, you know, I don't feel like getting up today, well, then that's an absence, and it counts against you. But of course, if you have a medical reason and you've shared that with your professor ahead of time, they'll let you tune in live, or they'll share the recording right after class. So everybody's got a computer now? Go to fmcc.edu. And helpers, we walk around and make sure everybody can log in using those credentials. Your credentials are in your folder. Those credentials that were printed and are in your folder, those were the credentials that you were given when you registered for classes. If you have changed your password, we can't help you. You have to remember what you changed it to. But if you all have, you should have your credentials in your folder, and I would like you to log in. And Emily,
You'll be walking around. Just raise your hand if you need help. We're going to log into Blackboard. So, you guys know what you're doing? And mom and dad, it doesn't hurt for you to know how to do this too. Because sometimes your students might say, I don't know how to do this. Give up. And then you say, well, I know how. I went through orientation here. Log in. This is I'm going to mention a couple of things. Some of you probably used Google in high school. Who used Google? Okay. Forget Google. And you don't have to forget it, but we don't need it at FM. We are a Microsoft campus. Your email is Microsoft Outlook, and you have the whole suite of Microsoft products. Let's just see if I can do my screen. Okay. Okay. So every time you're somewhere on the FM website, you're going to see this little, we call it a waffle. Right here, these like dots that make a square. If you press on those dots that make a square, that's going to give you access to everything Microsoft. As a student here, you have a Microsoft suite called 365, and you have access to Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, and a lot of applications that you'll be using, Share Drive, and a lot of applications. Again, play with it. When you go home, sit down, look at it all. But if nothing else, learn the email, Microsoft Outlook, the email application. Your professors are only going to contact you using your college email, and that should be in the credentials that you got today. Part of your, something you have to memorize. I like to check my email on my phone. I recommend just downloading the free app, and then you can just log in through the web, and you have your college Outlook email right on your phone. I also have it on my iPad, and as well as on my computer. So it's free. The app is free. You can get it. You can access your college email at any time. I know it's kind of inconvenient if you have a personal email and a college email, but you need to check your college email regularly. And on this library website, there's all these instructions. I think everybody knows how to download an app, but just in case, the instructions are there. All right, the instructions were written before it was very common for people to download a lot of things. And there's videos that can walk you through it. A lot of it is common sense. But just remember, those those little dots up here at the top are going to bring you to everything that's Microsoft. Okay, so again, there's a lot of tutorial videos on how to use your Office 365. Your Outlook email, Word, PowerPoint, all of the apps. Okay, I want you all to go to Blackboard. Are we all in Blackboard? All right, cool. Very good. Almost logging. English stuff. I can't have that. But what you can do is on the website, there's a place to use that you can actually get. You don't need to go back. Before you do the actually. Just follow along from this week. With you guys. We're in Blackboard. So you're in Office 365. But we can do the college website. That's the library homepage. Actually,
see that we have many links to many things, both at the top and on the sides, and embedded and everywhere. Okay. Let me do the Blackboard stuff, and then we can get back to making some comments. Or you can ask these questions we're doing right now. There's a quick question, actually. I have one person that's supposed to be on. I don't know why it's not. Okay. Yeah. So let's go to Blackboard. Okay. Again, play around with this. You've got the tools, get familiar, because the professors are not going to give you a lot of time to get to know this stuff. That's why usually we do orientation the day before classes. Usually they're August 31. We're doing a huge group, hundreds of students in the theater. Well, we couldn't do that because of COVID, and we want to do them in small groups. But I think this is better to actually have laptops and kind of practice. I see our professors here, so I may ask her to pop in, and then we'll get back to Blackboard. Okay. Hello. All right, our headliner is here. Thank you for coming in off the summer to.
No, it's quite all right, and I apologize for being late. My best friend's son's having surgery right now, so that's where I was just moments ago. But I'm happy to talk to you guys about the programs that we have here at FM. One of the key things is the two programs that I primarily direct, which is the Health Sciences and the Health Studies programs. How many of you guys here are interested in the Health Sciences and the Health Studies?
Pretty much everybody.
Pretty much everybody? That's
Yeah.
Fantastic. And with those health science and health studies, how many of you guys are thinking of a clinical career? Clinical meaning nursing, rad tech, physician assistant, anything that has to do with the practicing of medicine. Excellent. So that's all of you guys. And I commend you because that was the path I was on. And I was primarily a science-based person. I'm a lot older than you guys. So what I did notice over the years is the change from specifically science, adding that health component, which is such a big deal to everything that we do in, as we practice medicine. It's one thing to understand the biology, which is incredibly important. I just tortured Michaela for 10 weeks in microbiology, which you do have to know. You have to understand how the body works, right? You can't expect yourself to understand how things are going to go if you don't understand how they work at the basic function. So the whole purpose of and I'll break it up because there's health sciences and there's health studies. And the biggest difference between the two of those is one is being in the healthcare field, but not necessarily practicing. There's healthcare administration, there's healthcare management. There's also other practices within the health field that you can help with patient advocacy. There's a lot of individuals that I would like to say are advocates, fighters, the ones that speak on behalf of patients that can't speak for themselves. And that's a very important core. Now that health studies area is allowing individuals to become more creative on how we help better the person, recovery, their soul, their path forward as far as being healthy. So that's one aspect. Health science, on the other hand, brings on that big giant tag mark, which is science. And so you have a much more rigorous curriculum that is less about making sure that you have sociology, which you do, making sure that you have ethics, which you do. Ethics is a huge component of both of these courses, but it's the general biology, everyone's favorite terms, general chemistry, mathematics, microbiology, physics. So that's the biggest difference between the two. Now you can always if you're uncomfortable with the rigor of health sciences, you can step into the health studies and say, wow, this is an environment I love. I absolutely love this. And you know what? I now feel I have the confidence to take these hard sciences. And you can take that health studies and you can take it further. Transfer to a 4-year program and get your sciences there. Now having 2 years under your belt, going, I'm a college student, I'm a successful college student, and I can take that forward. So there's multiple ways that you can utilize those programs. Since we don't know the rigor that every student has at the high school setting, some have more biology and chemistry and math than others, you can really cater that to what your expectations are and what you would like. The key is that it is a versatile process. So to break down both of those, I've taught Michaela both the hard sciences as well as the health studies. She's taken several health studies classes with me. And what I generally try to do as a professor here is integrate them both. Okay? So you're probably wondering, well, how do you know all this stuff? Well, my background was, like I said, general science. I mean, I was a science person. I was a science geek. I loved everything that had to do with experimentation, putting things together. If it was something that I could make explode, I loved it. And then I discovered the human body, and I was in awe of how it functioned. So many things happen to it. It is probably one of the more perfect machines that we have. Is it perfect? No way. It's an imperfect machine, but it's constantly trying to maintain a steady state. And that homeostasis is the basis of the science that we teach, because it enables you to realize, wow, after all the stuff that we do to our bodies, it's always trying to get back to normal, whatever that normal may be for that person. And it's a remarkable path that got me into, instead of just a general scientist, it got me into the health sciences. So my master's degree is in health science. My PhD is in health sciences, and I also have an added bonus to that is I'm an international public health person. So my degree in my PhD is health sciences with a focus on global health inequity. And so ultimately that's how I've pieced everything together. I've had other experiences. I'm a member of the National Disaster Assistance Team. I build small hospitals when there's mass casualties. I was on the base of 9/11 when that struck many years ago. I've dealt with big epidemics in the United States. I was part of the avian flu response as well as the swine flu response. You know, all of those things that occur. I believe there was an airline crash that happened right off the coast of Long Island, probably about 12 or 15 years ago. And I was not on that because most people didn't survive. There's also another group. We're DMAT, which means they're alive. There's also DMORT, which is the morgue individuals that come in and assess what happened to all these individuals. I was given a snapshot of what that would be, primarily through my experience as a paramedic. I'm a critical care, level 1A, flight paramedic. So I've had a lot of experiences, and one of the key things that I do at this college is try to integrate that. You don't have to have my path. What's brilliant about it is you make your own path and whatever excites you in that process. And I'm pretty sure that Michaela could tell you I infuse a lot of that experience in every single class that I teach. I'm going to give Michaela the platform, but one final thing I do want to mention with the curriculum is that it is flexible. I always advocate communication, and communication in any program, I don't care if it's at FM or any other college, is key to your success. So what that means is engaging not only with your instructors, but with your advisors and saying, listen, this is my dream. I would like to do this. You don't have to think big, or you can think big, but have that communication is, how about this class with this class? Do you think if I take these two classes, it might make my experience at the college better? And that's one of the assets that I would like to say that FM has, and that's the ability to provide you with creating your path. Now, yes, there are core curricula that you have to adhere to. She's laughing because she's in a nursing program and there's core curriculum that she has to take, and there's really not option there. But you yourself can embed different courses like I did. I embedded courses that involved health equity. I helped create programs. In other words, they were given scenarios in which you would have to kind of create different aspects of how you would like to practice medicine. within my program in medical ethics, there were also many facets to how you would provide your form of medicine, or give yourself a scenario. How would you be as a physician? And how would you act in that situation? So there's definitely a multitude of opportunities in that way. And using all of the resources that FM has to offer, along with communication with the instructors that you have, as well as the individuals that provide these opportunities for you, I think you can really create a pretty magnificent curriculum for yourselves to be successful at FM. So anything to add, Michaela?
So now that it's kind of just me and her, because I can actually talk about the classes I took. In my health studies, for the ones who are going for health studies, I took a lot of her classes. She literally, in her classes, took science and the health studies, the curriculum that had to be taught in that program, and was able to combine it. And I just actually finished microbiology. She made microbiology not just the science, like for scientists, she made me understand it from a nursing background, with this it being clinically based. That, just being able to combine those things is awesome. Because right at the end, we had this presentation that we had to do. I was so excited to do it. It was about an organism that I actually had while I was in the healthcare field working. I had so much fun doing that presentation. She makes classes fun. Trust me, she has her hard days and she has her easy days. I'll tell you flat out. And this one, she just go to her. She does not bite your head off. None of the professors will bite your head off if you ask them a question. None of them. Just go and ask them.
I think at the end of the day, it's about growth, right? I'm pretty sure that you've experienced things at school now where it is hard to ask a question to an instructor, to a teacher, because you're afraid in some ways what the answer might be. And I do understand that today we don't have perfect instructors. We don't have patient instructors. And I do understand that that happens. I mean, I know I would get very discouraged when I would go and ask a question and be like, how do you not know the answer, as the response? And that's really hard. So what I recommend is that I don't think I can wipe out all of those, because every individual has a different approach to how they do things. But if you find that you can connect with an instructor in a certain way, however small that may be, it really is important that you take that extra step and ask, because a lot of times that instructor may have knowledge that you're seeking, that you may not even know that you were looking for, because of their experiences. And I think that's one of the biggest assets that many of our instructors have, is the depth of information, the depth of years of teaching, as well as experience in the field to be able to provide that. If you ever have any questions about, again, a field as a medic, EMT basic to begin with, all the way to paramedic or flight status level. I mean, that's to me one of the more exhilarating jobs that I had, was to be able to do level 1A traumas and jump into the back of a helicopter and perform what you need to perform, along with 3 or 4 other people all crammed in an area. But what always marveled me about was how well educated they were and how they were able to prioritize what they needed to do. And I always took that as, isn't that what we need to do in life? Is to be able to understand where we are and then be able to prioritize the important things in life. Are we going to get it perfect every time? No. But when you're doing these types of things in medicine, you really have the opportunity to say, what's the most important thing to do here? And then once you get a whole team behind it, you work together for it. That's what they're learning in the clinical world. I mean, I think our nursing program is one of the better nursing programs that I've seen in a long time, because they stress exactly that. The patient comes first, and then everything else around it functions on how to make this individual better. And I think that that's the key goal of our health science and health studies program. That's giving you and orienting you, kind of like taking you in fully to give you all aspects of what you're going to be learning. One of the classes that I had Michaela in is probably your most important class, whether you take health science or health studies, and that is HLT 101, which is Introduction to Allied Health. Now, those of you guys, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys here have already worked in some form of medical capacity, whether it's in a nursing home or some other form of aid, which is wonderful. If you haven't, that's wonderful too. This class is designed to introduce you. It's an orientation, right? An introduction to what are all of the different possibilities. And this class is offered for both degree programs, so you can see just how important this class is. Because in that program, the way I teach it, Dr. DiMaria also teaches it in the same way, and that is, it's not designed to be a difficult course. It's not difficult under any circumstances.
No.
It's not difficult under any circumstances, but it is designed to give you a full orientation of what to expect, which means your first chapter that you get in is, well, what is the allied health field? What do you do? And it shows you all the different professions, all the way from being an aide in the field, all the way from being a technologist in the field, all the way over to being a physician, surgeon, all the way to being a mortician. That's all part of the allied health field. Whether, some people are more techie but love being in the medical field, well, there's a lot of machines that we use nowadays to do diagnostic testing. There's also clinical lab science, there's dentistry, there's veterinary science. Veterinary science is part of this whole group. So a lot of people just think human. What about our friends that are furry? What about pets? What about different dimensions? We have several zoos within the area. Those are opportunities to do internships there if you are an animal person. But at the end of the day, you still have to learn where that fits in within the allied health field. And that's what 101 does. Once you get that introduction, it teaches you about medical ethics. It teaches you about the human body, everyone's favorite, medical math. And then it keeps on going to all the different areas that these classes have to offer. So what it does is it gives you an orientation, and it's perfectly okay to experience that class and go, man, I am fired up, I love this program, or it's not for me. That's what it's intended for. We're not going to get 100% of the people feeling warm and fuzzy after that first class. The whole intention of it is to say, wow, I feel really good taking these courses. And even though I have a lot more to learn, I like the path that I'm on. Because I can tell you something, in life, when we're motivated to do something, do we really get stopped from doing it? No. If you're motivated to do it, you do it. If you don't feel it and you're not feeling the course, forcing yourself to do it isn't just, oh, I have to take on the challenge. Remember, you're going to be doing this for a while. I've tortured her enough semesters to know that you got to be in it to really appreciate what's going on. But that's why I love this course so much, because it gives you that open book, an opportunity to flip the pages through what would a potential career for me be. And in that, you grow and figure out what you like. Maybe you do want to be a surgeon, neuroscientist. Nope, surgery's not for me. I think I just want to do regular patient care. But I love radiography. I think I want to be in, or you can be a person that says, this is where I want to be. I just don't know where I want to go with it yet. And that is okay as well. What happens within the health science and health studies program is once you hit that baseline, and you're like, okay, I like it, I'm going to continue forward, you can say, well, next semester I have to take labs. I have to take intro to chemistry with a lab. How am I feeling this? Still liking the labs? Is it okay? Is it balancing? And we've managed to, I've just recently done a change to the curriculum so it's well balanced. So you'll take some sociology, you'll take some history, you'll take other courses balanced with the science. So it isn't just an entire semester of chemistry, biology, physics. You'll have that balance, which I think is important because in medicine, it's a balance as well. Because once you practice medicine, you're 150% on the job, but then you leave and then you go home. And you have to maintain that balance. And I think the more we maintain that balance, once we graduate with our degree and move on to whatever path we're going to, that's what gives you your success. To be able to succeed not just at home, succeed at school as well, allows you to deal with the adversities that you experience along the way a lot better, a lot healthier. And I think that's what the prospect of being in these programs provide. One, ensuring whether you love it or not, and if you do, the opportunity to make that what you want it to be. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I would encourage within the program.
So she was talking about HTL 101. I took that class and I remember she had us do a presentation, and then I remember just standing up there and being able to present what I want to be. Like, I wasn't afraid to stand up in front of these classmates. Like, I had no idea who they were. I still stood up there and said, you know what, this is what I want to go for. And then actually, after she was talking about her flight, this past semester, the college actually had the opportunity for a helicopter to come in. That's for LifeNet. And I actually I'm like, I might want to go for flight nurse, I might. It's everything kind of just layers on top of each other, and it works out how it works out. And like one thing with professors, like she said, once they see you're seeking help, you actually do grow really close with them. We're friends on Facebook, and like we know each other pretty well. Like I was in New Hampshire this past week, and she's like, "So how was Boston?" Like we have that. Like when you meet that one professor that you can just go to if you're having a rough day, it still means something. Because everybody wants you to have a good day, and especially in health studies, health sciences, nursing, and rad tech, it's stressful. Just being able to have a good professor to go to and talk, it's a relief off your shoulder.
Yeah, it's having that support is important. We have chemistry professors. Lori Lazinski is absolutely outstanding. She's a great person to speak to. We're guides. I know sometimes we appear a little scary, but we are guides. And I can tell you from my perspective, my number one goal is to see you succeed. That's why I've created a foundational program for the health sciences and the health studies so that you don't go into it feeling like, oh, I'm going to fail. You go into it feeling, okay, this is a challenge, but I'm up for the challenge. And then utilize those resources. We have so many. I've taught at Quincy College before I came here. I was an adjunct faculty at Harvard University. That's where I got my post-bac as well as my biology degree. I'm an undergraduate of Brown University. So, you know, most of these experiences, I'm in the academic world and I have been for a really long time. And I would never have succeeded or created the foundational growth that I had without talking to my professors. My professors were Nobel Peace Prize winners. My professors created certain types of identifications to genes for the biology of cancer. I took a class at Harvard, the biology of cancer. He was one of the leading identifiers of the oncogenic gene, right? So he's scary to talk to, but I went in because I was so lost. I didn't really know how to do my assignment. And I was just kind of like, hi, he's like, come on in. And it was such a beautiful experience because I went to him the rest of the semester. I got an A- in that class. When I went to go see him, I had a D, you know? So it taught me something. As scary as we may be,
You want what's best for you.
you want what's best for you. And I think that I'll leave this with you. When you get to college, and as daunting as that sometimes may be, I'm a PTK advisor here at FM. So I do the Honor Society here. And I've learned so much from my students. So you have to remember, you guys are human beings too that have a lot to offer. And we as instructors, we feed off of you. We learn so much from you. The questions that you pose to us are brilliant. And I love it. Have I been stumped on questions? I'm like, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. That's absolutely fantastic because you're thinking outside of that box. My goal is to provide you the foundational skills. If it doesn't work out in the health science or health studies program, that you achieve the foundation necessary to go to what does interest you. That's the key, because as instructors, I don't think there's anybody, I can't speak for all of the instructors. I know the majority of us, at the end of the day, we want you to succeed. We want you to come in and value your education. We want you to, as a parent, and I'm a parent, we want to see our children be happy and feel successful, and then take that success and go as far as they can. That to me is success, right? It has nothing to do with monetary issues. It's the comfort, the expression, the confidence, the success within that individual in whatever you decide to do. So I applaud you for jumping into this, into the health science, health studies informational, because I'm biased. I love it. It's my thing. I absolutely have dedicated my life to being in the health sciences. I love the human body. My daughter comes to my labs with me. I teach science Saturdays. I do STEP. I love teaching sciences because I know it's one of those foundational things that's going to help you guys, whether you go into accounting or whether you go into business. It's still how you learn to learn. And sciences are challenging. So if you can learn to learn in the sciences, I feel you can learn to learn in just about any subject, regardless of what you do. So if you have any questions whatsoever, I'm happy to answer them. I'm going to, if you want to give them my email address,
Okay.
I don't-
I'll put it in the Blackboard.
Put it on the Blackboard, yes, and feel free to email me. I may not be teaching until September 1st, but I'll be here tomorrow all day, and if you have any distinct questions, or if you're like, I want to take this, or take that, or it's fine. You know, I'm happy to answer whatever I can. I know that when I was an undergraduate, I was very grateful for the people that took the time to answer things for me. It made my planning, it made my scope and perspective a lot better. So because of that, I always do the same thing for anybody that has those types of questions. It's just incredibly important. Anything else? Yeah.
No, well, she is pretty good at answering. I booked her the entire 10 weeks, even on my 2 vacations. I'm like, I'm lost. And she helped me out. I remember there's many classes of hers, like I was lost and I went to her after class and she was able to redirect me into the right direction of how to do it. She actually helped me get one of my studying techniques that I use in the nursing world. Teachers are, well, the professors are very resourceful to you. So, yeah.
And again, I think you've gotten the theme of the day, right? Utilize your resources, connect with your faculty, connect with the classmates, connect with the tutors. Anybody have any questions? They're a shy group.
It's okay. I had an entire shy 28 crew in
We
micro.
were so.
Question.
Yes.
I'm actually taking your class this fall, for your health and for the professional ethics. I was wondering, are you using that like on Blackboard as well? Like, are you going to be putting assignments in the Blackboard or they like print out or are you?
Oh, yes.
Everything's going to be on Blackboard. So one of the things, no, it's a wonderful question just to get yourself prepared. So she'll tell you I'm very communicative. I'll send out announcements all the time.
Yep.
Part of that communication is I get annoyed when I don't know where to find things. If I have to take the time to start digging through all that stuff and it takes me 20 minutes and I still don't know where it is, I'm annoyed. Like
Everything organized.
I'm crazy organized. And at the end, so I actually am so crazy about that stuff that I do snapshots of how to get into certain programs. So if I say this, and I do a full-on video of how to get into every single folder that I post. Remember, we just went for, I think, 18 months of fully online. I had to teach anatomy and physiology fully online. Microbiology, I just did fully online. So what I did was I nerded out and I put on my lab coat and I grew my organisms in the lab and videoed every single step and gave it to them.
Yeah, like she just said, we finished the class last Friday. We sat there the first day. She collected our samples. It was the bottom of her shoe. And is that the exact shoe?
It's been cleaned.
Oh, okay. I was like, the organisms that grew on those shoes and the cell phones was not fun. And like she challenged us.
So my micro class, so the health science students get to take it. It's my favorite class to teach. It's the hardest science we have here on campus. She'll vouch for it. It is hard. But what I do is I make it clinical. So instead of me giving you a whole bunch of information that you have to like, okay, that's that, that's this. I don't give you any of the answers. You have to come up with the answers. So on the very first day, I collected a sample from here, which I have promised I have cleaned these shoes. But we found under there was pretty gross. And I sampled my cell phone. Okay, and so the cell phone is considered a low diversity because it's on me, right? I'm the only person aside from Sticky Fingers out there, which is my daughter. You know, aside from her, that's considered low diversity because it's my personal. The shoe isn't considered low diversity because I walked across the parking lot that day and it turns out that there were trucks going back and forth. And it turns out the organism I got was from what the trucks were digging up. It was a sulfobacillus.
Dang it! I was so off. I think I did like PO.
You did the peptostreptococcus.
Did I get the other one right?
Yes, you did.
Oh yeah. I'm just happy I got one right.
So ultimately what I do is, this is an unknown, right? And so what we do is a whole series of tests. Just like if you have a patient coming in with unknown issues, I'm hurting, I don't know what's going on. How do you figure out what it is? You don't guess and go, yeah, I think that's what you have. No, you run tests, right? You do lab work. If it's pain, musculoskeletal, you do some x-rays. Maybe if it's severe enough, you'll do a CAT scan. But you have to do tests in order to determine what happens. So I ran 17 tests with them, with the 2 organisms, and at the end of the day, they have to diagnose what it is. And that's how I teach that class. And it was 10 weeks. Thank goodness in the fall, it's 15. It was torturous. In the summer coming up, 5 weeks. That's gonna
Oh.
be yeah.
That's gonna be pure torture.
It's every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for those 5 hours a day. So it's intensive, but you get to do something. In other words, you're aiming towards a goal. Every single week you do something new. And that's generally how I do my micro, but also my A&P. My A&P class, if you take anatomy and physiology with me, you get to dissect quite a few things. Ever dissect an eyeball?
That's cool.
That one, we do the eyeball, we do a cow eye, we do the fetal pig, we do kidney, we do a rat, the full organ system. We do, I have what's called a pluck, which is the trachea, right? The nose, nasal cavity connected to the lungs with the heart attached. And I actually inflate the lungs so that you can see how lungs are inflated.
I didn't have her for A&P. I only had her for essentials of A&P. And like her just telling me that, I'm like, I didn't get that in my A&P 1 and 2 classes.
But we do. I try to give you guys as much hands-on experience possible because remember, the human body is a rather complex thing. Those of you that go on to medical school will have to do a cadaver, right? And those are very intimidating because it's freaky staring at another human being. I had to do it. I didn't love it. I did it because it was a requirement, but I was always thinking at the back of my head, there's another human being, another human being, is another human being. And then I had to tell myself, you got to get over it. And then after a while, it just becomes another part of an education. Yeah. Then you start looking at the nerves, you start looking at the blood vessels. And I teach you the nerves and the blood vessels, but not on human.
No,
we do it with a pig. But again, most of these classes, at least with me, my whole purpose is to get you guys integrated, hands-on stuff, because they become more memorable, right? If you want to sit here and memorize stuff, I can tell you that you can do a great job and have 100% retention of the memory. I'm going to ask you the same questions 3-4 months from now.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't work that way. But when you associate the actual process, you associate things, that's what makes it stick a little bit more. And the majority of my courses, whether they're HLTs, and I do teach HLT 101, HLT 120, HLT 145, and then the A&Ps, Bio 181, Bio 182, which is A&P 1 and 2, and then microbiology. So I am integrated in both. So I truly am health and science. So I do both, and I'm very lucky to have been able to experience that. So I have a lot of information to provide many of you guys. So like I said, she'll give you my email. Don't hesitate. I do have an email policy. I get back within 24 hours, and that's to anyone, colleagues, students. It's not something that lingers in my box for an entire week, and then I'm like, oh, let me get back to that. No, I stick on it and make sure that I respond to you guys within 24 hours. And she'll vouch for
I
that.
will. She has her personal life, her and her daughter, and then she has her college life.
Yeah.
But she has it split equally. And like if you guys do randomly think of questions and you do want to ask, if she can't answer it, she can always shoot it to me and I can answer. I've been through everything.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Anybody else have any questions?
I was able to give keys, by the way, to those 2
Oh,
questions.
excellent. All right, so we're going to spend another 10 minutes or so looking at Blackboard and what it's all about. Because while our plan is to be here 100%, and Flora, you were here in and out, right? Through this past year, you had some labs on campus.
I had 3 fully online lectures. The rest were my labs, and so I was here. I was here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
She was one of the few professors who were actually physically here. Yeah. Because a lot of labs in your program, hands-on, which is really fun. So even during the pandemic, everybody was wearing masks and they were here. It's one of the few courses that were operating in person with the lectures being online. But hopefully, like I said, fingers crossed, everybody's in person. We won't need the remote access, but we have Blackboard. We're utilizing it for all our resources.
All your instructors should be using Blackboard.
There's maybe 1 or 2 professors that I know of that hate Blackboard.
Well, most people, but it's beneficial because I put my lectures, which is my outlines, and all of that stuff in folders. So you'll see week 1 of 9/1/2021. If you're taking any one of my classes starting in the fall, and you have me, that's going to pop up open every Monday at midnight. So when you wake up on Monday, it's already open, and you'll have access to it. You will also have a guide. So you get your syllabus, but I give you a weekly guide, and I tell you, what's due,
I love that thing.
what's your sub, you saw it.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's just basically,
It breaks
right,
everything
it's
down for
the
them.
first thing you see. So it's not like, where is it? It's like, oh, I'm in week 1, click. And you always have access to the previous folder. So if you're like, oh, wait, what did we do last week? Because I know that life gets hectic and you may not be, the goal is to wake up on Monday and open it up. But if you don't get a chance to open it up on Monday, right, you at least can open it up on Tuesday. You miss something, you want to go back to the previous week, that's open. But every due date is there, and I color code them.
And when will that be available on Blackboard?
It will be available a week before classes start.
Damn, I just want to get ahead.
So
Yeah, the shelves
August
open. Yes.
24th,
Yes,
August 24th, you can get into Blackboard, you can see all of your courses, all of the syllabi, and probably week 1.
week 1,
My
my
guess.
week 1's in every one of my classes. So I'm teaching Bio 181, Microbiology for the fall, HLT 101, and the class that was just mentioned, which is Professional Ethics and Allied Health. Those are my 4 courses, and those will be open on August 24th. You'll see the full shells. You can start reading through it, all that stuff, and you will have access to a video that says, "Hi, I'm sorry, I'm very nerdy. My kid's going to be walking around too," but it will give you an opportunity to kind of see more or less what your objectives are. And then once you see me face to face on the first day of class, we'll reiterate that. Okay, so that's
And
kind
it'll
of
be the
how.
same for all your professors. So August 24th, August 25th, click on Blackboard, and that's what we're going to do next for the next few minutes. So when you walk away in 15 minutes, you feel confident to go and play, get into the Blackboard practice course that we have, and like I said, learn the Microsoft system, learn
Arlene,
Office 365.
are you going with them how to access their grades as they're being inserted?
It is all on the website. I told you that orientation page. So
Because that's one of the
I
biggest
saw
we're
things.
not going to get to all those details in
Okay.
the next 15 minutes,
Beautiful, okay.
but everything is there. Play around with it.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
one of the activities I'm going to have you do is email me before you leave today through Blackboard, so that you know how to email your professors through Blackboard, and you can ask me anything all the rest of August.
I've done it.
All right. So thank you, ladies. Thank you so
no
much.
worries. Good luck, guys. I hope to see you guys in the fall, and I'll see you.
Most definitely.
All right, so let's look at our computers, and I don't want to rush you. And again, you can follow up with me anytime, but we did promise you would be done by noon. So when you go to Blackboard, you're gonna see this big green button in the middle. Click on that. And I'm actually going to, you're going to go to a course called the Orientation Summer 2021 ORN 001 Orientation to FM. And I'm actually going to go live to that course. So give me a minute to log on, but you get there as well. Blackboard. Click on the green button. Logging in. All right. So I want to show you something. See that up there? It says Arlene Spencer, my name, and that there's a 3 that's in red. What does that mean? Notifications, right? So that means that something happened in Blackboard, and they're notifying me. It means that probably your professors put a message out there. You might have an assignment due. I had a student who had, I don't know, 93 notifications, and they sat down with me, and I said, well, how come you never opened up your notifications? I was afraid to hit the button. Don't be afraid to hit the button, because that means that there's notifications for you. You need to read from your professor. So everybody should be in the course. So let's see, let's get in the course. This might be the first page. Everybody here? Pretty much? Yeah? So this is what a Blackboard course looks like. Sorry, it's not Google Meet. It's not exciting like in high school. It's pretty plain. Yes?
Mine says announcements when I click on it.
Did you go right to the course?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
You're going to, I mean,
This is what it looks like.
on August 24th, you're going to actually have 4 or 5 courses. hand? Yeah. So you can just go right up the courses up here as well. That's right. Okay, you clicked on the SUNY. SUNY has embedded in orientation. It's not what I'm teaching you today. That's kind of how to navigate the site. That's for all SUNY schools. Okay. Are you registered for the course? No courses. You might not be. Did you register recently for classes? Okay. It's a manual process. If you registered recently for classes, I have to input it. And I didn't register you for that class. Yeah, sorry. I only get a list once a week. So I promise I'll make sure that I get the list on Wednesday. So tomorrow when I get the list, you should be able to access it. Well, let's just take a look. This is the main homepage. Again, there's those SUNY orientation. You can watch those videos. They tell you all about Blackboard. You're always going to find right on the front all about the tutoring services, the library hours. You can't miss it. It's all right here. If you need 24/7 access, there's the 24/7 information for the library. There's also how to make appointments with a tutor. And again, there's a video to show you how to do it. What we want to do is go over here. Course content. You're going to have a syllabi, you're going to have a calendar, all of these things your faculty members are going to fill in. You'll see them 1 week before classes start, August 25th or so. I am going into my student look and course content. There's grades Laura talked about. You should be here where it says new student orientation, the folder. Faculty members are always going to talk about their folders. Week 1 folder, week 2 folder. I didn't make 15 weeks of folders. I just made 1. All right, for today. But you're going to see a whole list. And maybe they don't even open them all up right away. They don't want to overwhelm you and scare you. They might only just open up week 1 in the beginning. So you go to week 1, you open your folder. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You click. You're going to see a syllabi. So there's I don't know if some of you have English 103 with Mr. Fagan, but there's his English syllabi already for the fall semester. Other resources that I put in here, the student handbook, the resource page that I talked about that's through the library website as well, the video we watched from Paula Weinstock, the PowerPoint, and I'm going to add in, there are some other links. YouTube Live, this has been YouTube Live streaming. I'm going to put this link here as well. So if you want to rewatch something, you can. But basically, that's it in a nutshell. You're going to see announcements from your professors, and you can get messages. You can check your grades on your assignments. So those of you that are in, I would like you to go to the survey. Click on the survey and complete that. And also, you can practice sending me an email. That's my name, Arlene Spencer, or another student or faculty member. And you can send me a course message. You can do this at home. But before you leave today, please do the survey link. Click on that, do the survey for us. Tell us what you liked, what we can improve upon. And then contact me after you get home and you start playing with this. So before we start wrapping up, any last minute questions? Okay, please go ahead and do the survey for us. And parents, I hope I didn't bore you too much.
I don't know.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I had feedback from my daughter. She's a freshman